So again, welcome. We're really happy to have everyone join us today. So we're going to go over the action areas and their legacies and how we can all take action to help achieve these legacies. And then our newest team member, Laurence, will talk to you all about tracking your actions. I will talk about the communication side and how we can best promote our mobilizers' work. And then we'll also talk about our upcoming plans for connecting mobilizers directly so you can take action together and we can really maximize our impact. And again, as I said at the end, will be the question and answer period. And we'll do our best to get to all questions. So first is a bit of review for anyone that's been on the webinars in the past. We've gone over these action areas again, but we've still had some questions, so we wanted to just quickly go over review and make sure that everyone on this call is clear about what we're talking about and can ask any questions later about it as well. So our action areas are key areas where we feel progress is most needed. So the first one is gender responsive health systems and services. Second is gender-based violence, and third is women's economic empowerment and equal opportunity. Now we've all, thanks to all of you responding to us, we've organized all of our mobilizers into one of these key action areas. And so now we have groups of mobilizers that are active, taking action in each of these areas, which is really important for the legacies. And each of these action areas, we've consulted all of you active in that area to identify what we, as Canadians, want to see as the legacies that come out of the Women Deliver conference in Vancouver in 2019. So the first one, a bit more detail. So the gender responsive health systems and services, what we mean is that we want health systems in Canada and around the world to be gender responsive and uphold the essential sexual and reproductive health and rights for women, girls, and gender diverse people, ensuring that they survive, thrive, and realize their right to health, dignity, and equality. Now, we've consulted with the mobilizers active in this action area. We've put together the specific legacies that we want to see, and that will be launched soon this winter publicly, and everyone that has consulted with us has been given time to review them as well. And for our second action area, gender-based violence, all dimensions of gender-based violence need to be eradicated globally and domestically. This includes sexual harassment, school-related gender-based violence, harmful practices, child early and forced marriage, female genital mutilation, as well as trafficking of women and girls and other marginalized communities. These are just a few forms of gender-based violence. Now this legacy for this action area has already been released, and I'll read that in just a minute. And for women's economic empowerment and equal opportunity, economic empowerment and financial inclusion for both women and gender diverse peoples are a key driver of change. To achieve this, Canada and Canadians must raise the voices and leadership opportunities of women, gender diverse people, and organizations advocating for their rights. We must also increase support of economical empowering conditions such as childcare and pay equity. And we must also simultaneously address unequal conditions. And this, the legacies for this action area is the same as the health. We've had them prepared. We've consulted with our mobilizers active in that area. They've had a chance to review, and we'll be launching them publicly in the spring. Oh, and just a reminder to mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, so the legacies, again, we see these as unifying goals and messages that bind us all together. And this is a really important point, that they're meant to be adapted to work alongside the campaigns and advocacy priorities that you all already have. They're not meant to supersede any of the important work that's already taking place. It's not meant to be competitive in any way to any of your existing priorities. It's meant to support and boost. That's why we had a long consultation period for all of the areas. And that's why we want to have this webinar today, to make sure to talk with everyone, give opportunity to discuss, ask questions about it, so that we can all stand behind them, but still use them to support the work that you're already doing, and in no way to supersede that. So an example of this, so as I mentioned, we launched the legacies for the gender-based violence area in December. And so it's really focusing on outcomes that we want to see come out of the conference. So here's our infographic on them. and I'll read it out in full. So the legacies we want to see: the root causes of gender-based violence are addressed through improved education, both domestically and internationally, to prevent the sexualization of women and girls and the hypermasculinization of boys and men, as well as to develop healthy outlooks on relationship and gender identities. Services to support survivors are resourced, and the criminal justice system is strengthened in both urban and rural communities in Canada and abroad. So the idea is that you can use these legacies, and you can show if it aligns well with advocacy priorities. You can use it to boost, this is a group of Canadians, this is what Canadians want to see, so it maximizes our impact that way, showing it's a group of people for asks. But also you can show great work that you're already doing to help achieve it. So if you're involved in these types of educational programs, if you're involved in criminal justice reform, etc., so many different ways. It's fairly broad. You can talk about how the mobilization, which now represents over 1 million Canadians, has come together and identified these as the legacies we want to see. And you can use that for your advocacy and also for your communications and campaigns. And we're really open to working with all of you on a case-by-case basis on how we can adapt messaging and make sure that you can use the legacies effectively to support your own work. Again, that's what they're for. They're not just for us. They're to support the work that you're all already doing. And also, it can help connect. Part of organizing everyone into the action areas and getting everyone to work on the legacies together, we want to connect our mobilizers, many of whom are already connected and already work regularly, but many also not. That's a huge strength of this mobilization, is that it's cross-sectoral, and we have the private sector, and tech, public sector. We have lots of different sectors represented, and we can break down the silos and work together, and we can count on each other to make change happen. It's not just one organization out there working. Many are, and we'll be talking later about how we're going to further connect all of our mobilizers. But now we'll move it over to specifically talk about concrete actions that you can take and the importance of tracking them. So I'll hand it over to my colleague, Laurence.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour. So as Caitlin already explained, so the goal of the mobilization is obviously to take advantage of this opportunity of hosting a Women Deliver conference in June. And so we do so by encouraging our mobilizers to take at least one action before June 2019. And so examples of how mobilizers are currently taking actions, I've got 4. One of them is the Canadian Council of International Cooperation, in partnership with CanWatch and Women Deliver, which are 3 very active mobilizers. They hosted in September 2018 a panel featuring reproductive health and rights experts from Canada, as well as abroad, and Canadian politicians. And so obviously mobilizers were welcome to join as participants, and in the public rather. As well as, so second point would be Women Deliver Mobilization. We hosted in August 2018 a roundtable with the Minister of International Development. And so a number of our mobilizers obviously joined, and they had the chance to network and engage in meaningful conversations. So these are 2 kind of events that we're tracking. A third one would be that Canadian Feed the Children has championed our gender-based violence social media campaign. So reaching out thousands of Canadians, and they have won a prize, so that's interesting. And last but not least, the Bank of Montreal hosted BMO Celebrating Women events across Canada to celebrate women in leadership, business, and philanthropy. And those events included a notable mention of the Women Deliver Conference and the opportunity to get involved through the mobilization. So these 4 examples are actions that we're tracking, right? So from social media to really on-the-ground action. We're also tracking any action that with regards to training or conferences or stuff, but it really, really has to have a women deliver mobilization or women deliver label to it. So we won't be tracking events that haven't been in partnership with the mobilization or haven't used any comms materials such as logo, infographics, or haven't basically tagged us on social media, right? So because we can track them, obviously, because we're not aware that they are on social media. And so we have a tracking form, an easy tracking form, basically that is available to all of you, and I'm happy to send it out to you who's joined the webinar. So basically, you can use it as many times as you take action, whether through social media or on the ground. And so it's just basically to allow us to see what you guys are doing on the ground. So yeah, and why are we tracking all of your actions, guys? Well, reasons are twofold. First and foremost, it's because we really want to accurately report our shared impact as a movement in all three actions areas. So we want to make sure that Canada is being heard at the conference and throughout the year, and that we have a leadership position in hosting this conference. So basically, it's really about giving a voice and a shout out to us, given this conference is really internationally oriented and has no domestic component to it. And second of all, we're also reporting to our funders. So it's really about making sure that funders are aware of all the great actions we've been taking since day one. And so again, why would you guys be tracking these things? It's because we have great prices that we often share and that we often make available. So it's a plus for you guys. So yeah, am I missing anything? I think that's pretty much it on my end. And feel free to ask questions at the end of the webinar if you have any.
Thank you, Laurence. And as she mentioned, that we have a contest going, and so you fill out the tracking form that Laurence explained, and as many times as you need to, and the mobilizer with the most actions across the different types of actions will win a profile with Women of Influence. That includes an interview with a professional writer who will then write up a beautiful profile of a senior leader in your organization, and it'll include a social media ad guaranteed to reach over 20,000 Canadians and posts across Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram with Women of Influence with us. And for yourself and for your network, you can share as widely as you want. Will be a profile on their website, on our website, and you can add it to your own website as well. We'll translate it so you can have it in both official languages too. So it's a great prize, but also it's really important to be taking actions and tracking actions. So we just wanted to reward the most engaged mobilizer. There's other ways to promote your work as well. So that winning the contest is a really big one. But also you can send us your content. We have a budget for social media, and we want a huge chunk of that budget to go to promoting the content and links of our mobilizers. You have great content, you're doing important work. We want to reach thousands of Canadians, let them know everything that you're doing. So please send it our way, and we'll boost posts on Facebook and Instagram and guarantee to reach thousands of people. Also, we've been made co-hosts on the Women Deliver official Facebook event page, which has a reach of over 21,000. Now, that audience is more global than our regular audience, so if you want just a local or Canadian audience, I'd recommend to be posting boosted posts on Facebook and Instagram. If, say, you have an event, but it has a live stream, or it's more of a digital campaign and anyone can take part, that would be great to share on the Women Deliver event page. And also every newsletter, we have our campaign section, so and really high open rate for our newsletter. So it's a really great way, again, to engage your fellow mobilizers and let them know what you're up to. And as I mentioned before, we're happy to help integrate our messaging with the Legacies with your messaging, so just reach out to us at any time. Our goal is to reach many, many thousands and millions of Canadians, and it's really to help you do the same as well. It's not just talking about us all the time. We really want to be putting our mobilizers front and center. And talking about integrating, oh, sorry, Laurence, did you have
No, go ahead, Caitlin, finish your sentence.
And talking about integrating messaging with legacies, I forgot to give an example before, but I can just say it now. So with the legacies, you know, integrating your messaging, how it can work. So just an example, many people in the international development sector are working on a financial ask to increase the official development assistance. So that ask is very specific, more specific than what our legacies would be in terms of an amount being requested. But we still see the legacy as helpful for that type of ask because it's going to demonstrate that Canadians from across sectors are effectively supportive of long-term and sustainable increased investment. So instead of us being specific, we would keep the legacies broad that everyone can stand behind, and then those in the international development sector can use it to support their specific ask. Hopefully that makes sense. And also, you know, specific ODA advocacy would be targeted towards the Minister of International Development, but we can also use the health legacy to target many other ministers and MPs, right? And so it's useful for international development, but it's useful for other areas, other mobilizers that are working with different areas of the government or different stakeholders. It's not just geared towards one stakeholder or one ask. And at the end of the day, all of these people are hoping to get reelected, like the MPs and ministers just want to get reelected. And if we can effectively demonstrate that our legacies is what Canadians hope will be achieved and come out of Women Deliver, it's going to be really supportive to get your precise ask. So again, I hope that made sense, but please reach out to us. We're happy to help you integrate messaging together and work on these types of asks. This is what we're here for. So just let us know. And also as important is working together, working with us, but also working across mobilizers. So now Laurence will help explain some of our future plans for how we're going to connect mobilizers and help them work together.
I might just add before jumping into connecting mobilizers. So again, you mentioned, Caitlin, decision makers. So in this respect, we really want to make sure that everyone tracks everything that you guys are doing, because we want to report to decision makers on how many people are involved and what the reach is. So the more Canadian voices there are, the more likely we are to see concrete announcements. So really important on that regard as well. So in terms of connecting mobilizers, so the purpose obviously is first and foremost to expand your network. So the mobilization is obviously a platform for you guys to meet other stakeholders, meet other businesses, and all kinds of mobilizers. So we have organizations, companies, activists, influencers from across Canada and even from across the world. So really it's a chance for you guys to, if you want to attend events, you will be being in touch with other mobilizers, but also via social media, you will be connected with them as well. And so it's also, you know, an opportunity to partner with other mobilizers to organize events. So we have currently 2 mobilizers that are based in Toronto and that are working on organizing an event, and so we're obviously helping them in some respects. So it's a great way for you guys to be connecting with others, really. And so at this point, we brainstormed a lot on how we could connect furthermore mobilizers at the moment. And so I believe Caitlin, you will be talking about this if I'm not wrong.
Yep, that is correct. Thanks, Laurence. So yeah, as she said, we were brainstorming lots of different ideas. So I'll just stop share to show you what we're talking about. So we were brainstorming lots of different ideas on the best way to connect different different platforms that people can use to message each other. And we've decided that we're going to get a plugin for our website and host a private forum on our website. It's called BB Press, and it's a pretty regular forum. I'll just share my screen so you guys can get a look at it. So it's really good. What's great about it is that it can be private. So it's just for the mobilizers. It's not going to be open. This is the public version of it. Ours will be private. So it won't look exactly like this, but just so you guys can see, this is just a writer's website, but they're using the same plugin. And so we'll just create profiles for our mobilizers and then get started. And we can have different groups, so we can have different threads, one for each of the action areas for sure. And we can also do, a communications thread, things like that as well. And it allows you to embed links. It allows you to attach documents and photos. You can share things so you can connect with each other directly. So we don't have to give out anybody's personal contact information, but it's also an easy way to reach different mobilizers. So we're really happy about that element of it as well. Everyone is still private. It's not public, but it's easy to connect. So it's pretty straightforward. You post and anyone can comment it that they want. And there's different themes. Ours wouldn't look exactly like this, but you can have different resources on the side if you choose. And it's really easy to just comment and share, as usual forums are. And we want to just enable a free-flowing conversation between all of our mobilizers, especially the ones active within each action area. That's really important. And we just wanted to make it easy. So it's on our website. You don't need to learn some new platform or get some new link. It's just going to be on our website before the end of the month, February, not January, of course. Before the end of February, it'll be up and running. And we're really excited to help support all of you to connect and see just how far this can go with really taking action and using our shared impact to achieve our legacies. So we have actually a lot of time left for questions. So I don't see any questions yet in the group chat. If you're comfortable speaking up, that's fine. You can speak or you can just type it in the chat box. So yeah, that is the end of our planned presentation though. So if anybody wants to use the raise their hand function or just type it in the chat box or just start speaking, we're here to answer any of your questions.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, hello, this is Ali Matthew from the United Kingdom. And thank you very much, Caitlin. That was a really good presentation and obviously great work to all the mobilizers in the group. Obviously, I'm in the UK. In September last year, I was privileged to be invited to speak at the Canwash event and Beyond 2030. So I'm a survivor of FGM and obviously FGMC, and spoke about the challenges of survivors and the impact that FGMC has on health. So ideally, I would like to know who in Canada, obviously as part of the mobilization team, who will be working on that, because what I would like to do is to work together. And obviously, I would love to host an event in the UK, though we're not going to be in Toronto, obviously, for the Women Deliver Conference. But I was also at Women Deliver Conference in 2016, again, as a guest speaker. But I just feel we can connect from different parts of the world, showing what the gains of the Women Deliver Conference has had on someone like myself, who I've attended one of the conferences already. So I would like to share my ideas and obviously gain some new ideas, and was in Toronto last year. Won't be in Vancouver for 2019, obviously, but we'll be happy to know what's being done by the mobilizers in Vancouver or in preparation for the Women Deliver Conference.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Ali Matu. That's a really good point, and we definitely want you to be able to get that type of information. And since we can't just start giving out contact details, and we're not aware of, a lot of people are active in that area, and so that's where we see the forum coming up. So we can start a thread, or you could even start a thread once the forum is up and running by the end of February. You'll be able to do just that, right? You can start a thread and, ask all mobilizers potentially, within the health action area thread or the GBV or both, and get connected and start working. And that's exactly the type of information sharing that we want to see. especially when someone's so engaged and energetic as Ali met too, you know, really wants to see. Our focus is, of course, more on Canada and hosting actions in Canada, but there's no reason to limit it either. So sort of to get people connected and to see where they go. But again, for tracking purposes, the main focus is on Canada. And we had another question in the chat group, which was if the recording will be shared, and it will be. So we add all of the recordings of the webinars to the CanWatch YouTube channel, but we'll also share the link directly with everyone registered for this webinar. So I know sometimes I talk really fast, my apologies. So if you want to rewatch or just you know want to go over an important area again, for sure we'll share that recording within a week's time. We can share the PowerPoint presentation as well. We could, when we email out everybody the link, with the slideshow isn't available to download, but we can email it out. We had another question, the best point of contact for any questions going forward, which is a really great question. Thanks for asking that. The best way to get in contact with us is our mobilization email, which is wedeliver2019@canwatch.ca. If you've been connected before and you know our direct emails, that's not a problem, but our main email is the best way, and then we'll direct it to the person. So that again is wedeliver2019@canwatch.ca. So if you have any questions, that's the best email to use. The tracking form, how can you access the tracking form? That's a really good question. So we sent out the link in the newsletter last, so if you still have it around, you can, but we can also include that in our email as well. I'll just take notes. So we'll be including the recording of this webinar. We can again include the tracking form. And again, you can email at any time, wedeliver2019@canwatch.ca, and we can share the link there as well if you just misplaced one of these emails. And we'll also include the PowerPoint slides. And also I wanted to note, so the language on the legacies and action areas will be up on our website shortly as well. So I think some of that language is really useful, and that's why it's good to share the PowerPoint slides, but it will be on our website shortly as well. Okay, so mentioning the size of the mobilization reaching 1 million Canadians, I think I said represents, I think I meant more reaching, in that it's sort of the combined reach and networks of all of our mobilizers. So we've have over 200 mobilizers signed on right now, and just looking through their networks and their reach on social media, it reaches over 1 million Canadians, and so that's what we mean by that. Sorry, I should have said reach instead of represent. But that's a very good question. I'm just going through the questions in the chat, just making sure that I haven't missed any yet. And again, with the tracking form, you know, you could set a task to fill it out every single month, or you could fill it out every time that you take an action. Sometimes social media, you take actions regularly, so whatever is easiest for you, it can be filled out an unlimited amount of times, and we'll just keep a running tally, of course. And then in the spring, we'll announce our most engaged mobilizer, and they're going to be the winner. Our first most engaged mobilizer was Canadian Feed the Children, and they have their profile coming out in February, so really excited for that. So yeah, so it's pretty good. So in terms of actions on social media, this mobilizer is considering scheduling a mobilization Monday in the lead up to the conference. So that again, you can email me directly. If you don't have my email, you can email wedeliver2019@canwatch.ca, and they'll send that over. So I manage the mobilization Mondays, and we're really happy with the engagement. So thank you to everyone on this call that engages with us. And if you want to, we're always looking for questions, and if you want it to kind of be coming from you as well, we can work together on that. I'd be happy to do that. So I just plan it out a week in advance. So as long as it's a week or more before you want it to go out, it should be plenty of time. Oh, and just to highlight what Julie said for the reach and representation question of 1 million Canadians, it's their reach, but also based on the membership. So some of our mobilizers are membership organizations, such as the Canadian Teachers Federation. And so they have a membership representing a very large amount of people. So we count that as well. Anyone that has membership, we count that as well as their reach. And we'll be sending the link to the website. So Julie shared the link there, but we'll announce it to all of our mobilizers once the forum is up and ready on the website. And so you'll get it then for sure, but that is our URL, which is wedeliver2019.ca. And yes, so the forum will be private, and so we'll be sending the link to all the mobilizers and the info on your profiles and how you can get started. We'll also have, you know, community guidelines to make sure everything is appropriate and to make sure that we're using it for how it's supposed to be used. So we'll share, you know, the how-tos and the guidelines and how, you know, get the profile set up, all of that information once the forum is up and ready. Really good questions. Anyone else have any other questions? Anything I've missed? And you can always reach out to us at any time. If you think of a question later this afternoon, tomorrow, and go, oh, I forgot to say that, you can just reach out to us at any time. Yes, and we'll send all the information on how to start a thread, how to start a group network. And I also predict that we'll do a webinar as well to go over how to use it, or how to video, that type of thing as well. So we'll send it over written, and we'll have either a webinar or video to sort of do a quick how-to make sure that everybody gets how to start it. And we'll be starting some threads to get the ball rolling as well, to make sure that it starts off well and that people know how to post and everything like that. It's pretty straightforward forum, but it's always good to have those how-to videos. So we'll be sure to do that. So really good questions. Thanks for all the engagement. Really excited about the tracking form. We'll be sharing that again, and the forum. And we had a question about corporate events, and absolutely, we would love it if, as Julie said, we definitely encourage it. So if you have a corporate event, or even a staff training, meetings within your own staff, anything like that, we highly, highly encourage it. And please connect with us if you have questions, and we can help you with, you know, you can have the logo, messaging, types of events to do. We're here to help. So please email wedeliver2019@CanWatch with any of those types of corporate event questions. We highly, highly encourage it. So great question. Okay, I have not seen any more questions. We'll just sort of going once, going twice. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out to us at any time. And really, thank you so much to everyone for joining us. It was a quick webinar, which is good. We have an extra 20, 25 minutes in our day, which I'm sure we can all use. But thank you again so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And please reach out to us at any time with any questions. So we're working hard on connecting everyone and taking actions. Also help you out with your messaging to work to incorporate the legacy messaging with yours. Also help out with all of your social media work, and we want to boost your posts. So please reach out to us and let us know what you need from us. We're here to help. So have a great day, and hope to see you all again soon sometime. Bye, everyone.